In this video, we're going to show you how to use the new CareLink AI routing optimization method. So to make sure this routing method is enabled in your account, you're going to want to go under Configuration, System Settings, and go out down here to the setting that says AI scheduling is active. By default, I believe this setting is set to no. You want to make sure this account setting is set to yes. To do that, you can go ahead and open a support ticket, or you can contact our support email to change that setting for you. And then once you see the AI scheduling is active, when you go to your schedule and um, go to your interactive optimization, if I go ahead and click on optimize, then when I scroll down here, you're going to see the list of available routing methods. And now you're going to see a new CareLink AI routing method. And the CareLink AI routing method, if you can read it here, it says it's AI routing that will balance the patient AM and PM time preference versus provider mileage based on minimizing a specific penalty score. And CareLink, if you notice, has an existing algorithm to optimize AM and PM visit time preferences. There is a subtle difference between the two routing algorithms. So let's go ahead and look at this schedule for today. So this is our red provider, and you'll notice that we have patients scheduled throughout the day. And then you'll also notice that we have some scheduling preferences. So you'll see this patient here has an afternoon preference, and this patient here has a morning preference. Now, when I use the optimize AM and PM visit preference, CareLink is going to very specifically optimize the morning patients first thing in the morning, and then we'll optimize the patients that have no preference, and then we'll optimize for the patients that have the afternoon preference. So I'm just going to go ahead and click optimize based on AM and PM time preference. I'm going to update the route, and then you'll see that our morning patient here is placed first, and then patients with no preference, and then you'll see we have the patients that have a preference in the afternoon are placed at the end of the day. Okay, so the CareLink AI routing method is designed to kind of help you balance patient preferences with provider total mileage. And one of the things that we can do is set a penalty score. And the penalty score can be set under configuration, system settings. When you scroll down here to your optimization settings, you'll see that you can set an AI optimization penalty score. And there are 4 settings for the score. They start at low, and then the highest setting is kind of extreme. And this is set at a medium setting. So think of it this way. Think of a medium setting is you will you would prefer to route a patient in the morning based on a patient's preference. However, if that adds more than 30 miles to the provider's route and there is a better route that is available, maybe that doesn't honor that patient preference, we're going to go ahead and create the schedule that minimizes the driving for your provider at the expense of meeting that preference for the patient. Okay, so medium score, think of it like about 30 miles or so. If the provider has to go 30 miles to meet that patient's preference, it's going to just kind of disregard that preference, unfortunately. So it helps you balance between the provider driving number of miles and then also trying to meet as many patient preferences as you can. So let's go back to the schedule that we were looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and find my red provider schedule and then go back to this date where we had some patients scheduled. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the optimize, and then you'll see our schedule here. And we didn't save the schedule after we proposed the AM and PM reference, so you'll see kind of the original schedule here. So if I go ahead and click on the CareLink AI routing method and go ahead and update the route, this is going to think for just a second or two. Unfortunately, the AI routing does take maybe up to 30 seconds because it's looking at a lot of different options and different feasible routes to try to meet the preference for those patients. So when you look at the result, you'll see, okay, it did schedule this patient first thing in the morning. You'll notice that it met the preference. And then you'll also see that we have patients routed in the afternoon to meet the preference, but you'll notice that these patients aren't necessarily scheduled together at the end of the day. They're kind of scheduled throughout the provider day. The patient preference is met, and you do notice that we have a very subtle decrease in the total distance that our provider is driving. So the AI will just look at many different routing options and will try to meet the patient preference and then balance that preference with the driving for your miles. So this is a really great option to use if you promise patients a morning and afternoon routing to meet their preference. And you also want to maybe add new patients on throughout the day. And then as long as you use the routing method, it's going to continue to honor the patient preference, but you should see less of an increase in the total provider mileage while meeting the patient preference. So I'm going to go ahead and change these to my recommended time, and then you'll see the new updated route that considers the morning and afternoon time preference.